Hey everybody, and happy Halloween. I'm Lisa Young Sutton and welcome to my channel. It is time for another 3-card message from the cosmos with the Petit Lenormand. And I am using my Trick or Treat Lenormand by Duck Soup, of course, for Halloween. And I am ready to go, so let's see what we get. Beep, beep, beep. All right, so the first card that I want, let me come over here, is the Tower. And the second card is going to be the Cross. Ooh, so we have Tower and Cross. And the last card, no, I want, there we go. Ooh, Mountain. Well, that's certainly an interesting group of cards, isn't it? So we have Tower, Cross, Mountain. All right. I'm seeing a lot of possibilities here. I'm seeing a lot of correlations among these cards. All right. So as always, I start with my primary vibes. We have institution, authority, long lasting for the Tower, burden, grief, strain for the Cross, and obstacle, resistance, isolation for the Mountain. So now next I just start talking to see what evolves. So I could say, how about stuck in a long period of grief, or struggling through quarantine? All right, so many of you can relate to that. Or the pain of intolerance. Yeah, I'm seeing pain of intolerance. Okay, how about to refuse to suffer under heavy-handed authority? I mean, Tower is authority, Mountain is resistance or refusal, Cross is like to suffer or something very heavy weighing on you. Held back by absolutism. Tower and Cross can definitely show absolutism, held back by absolutism. Now, what if we were to see the Cross as religion? How about, it's sitting between Tower and Mountain. Okay, Tower for organized, rejecting organized religion. Or what if we looked at the Mountain as silent and distant? And, you know, Tower can be silent too. Suffering and silence. How about it can be hard to get over a long-standing martyr complex. Martyr complex is where someone exaggerates suffering for sympathy or like to make somebody else feel guilty. And you know what? I'm loving the word exaggerate for the Tower, because it means to make something bigger than it really is, or to stretch the truth. The Tower is big and stretched. Yeah, there you go. It's a new keyword for Tower. Exaggerate. Or the heavy weight. The heavy weight. This is heavy. It's weighing on you. The heavy weight of an oppressive government. The strain of imposed conformity. Tower is conformity for me, for sure. Or the strain of solitary confinement. I mean, the Tower can represent a prison, and it may bring to mind incarceration. So this could definitely say that the strain of solitary confinement. Or Tower relates to ambition and trying to get to the top of the heap, right? Trying to get to the top of that tower. And we have loneliness of the mountains, we could say, and this is like sad, right? Yeah, it's lonely at the top. Loneliness is the highest form of suffering. Loneliness is the highest form. I'm just seeing high in both the Tower and the mountains, right? Okay, I might be getting a little too off track. Let me come back. All right, how about isolation? The Mountain can refer to things isolated, distant and isolated, right? Okay, isolation is hard to bear. This is solitude, isolation. Yeah, it's hard to bear. Okay. How about coming back to Tower as ego? and cross for suffering, and mountain for, if this is ego, this could be like rejecting yourself. And you know what? This is making me think of one of my favorite quotes. You can only be lonely if you don't like the person you're alone with. I love that. You can only be lonely, right? It's one of my favorite quotes. I say it all the time. You can only be, like when people say, don't you mind being alone so much? Because I'm always off in the woods alone, you know, walking. And I say, you can only be lonely if you don't like the person you're alone with. Okay. Now, speaking of solitude and confinement and isolation and all that, let's just differentiate between them quickly. Solitude or confinement are both shown by the tower. And isolation and detachment are shown by the mountain, right? So how does loneliness fit into this? Well, solitude can be positive or negative, right? That's kind of what I was just talking about. It's defined as being alone without being lonely, and it's something you choose. Now, confinement, tower can also show confinement, and confinement is inflicted on you, or, you know, imposed on you, I should say, right? Now, isolation that we see in the mountain is just to be separated from others, right? It's not saying it's good or bad or anything else. It's just saying that you're separated from others. But loneliness is an emotion, and that's why I'm seeing that really with the cross here, because loneliness is the emotion or feeling of sadness that can accompany either confinement or solitude or isolation. All right? Okay, so other than you can only be lonely if you don't like the person you're alone with, other than that, what is the message of today's cards? Well, I mean, I think there's easily more than one, but I am going to choose that it can be difficult to reject our long-held convictions and outdated principles, right? That would be like principles that are weighing you down, right? But we should pick up our crosses and accept the challenge, because you know what? There's a whole new world on the other side of that mountain. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Well, that is it for today, my friends. As always, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful Halloween, and don't eat too much candy. Okay. Bye.